Hey YouTube, back in Acoustic Corner. I got acoustic strings, so I should be doing a couple more acoustic-y things. Not been here for a while. Acoustic Corner is basically just putting the camera there and sitting here. Mic's still up there. So this is a Yamaha APX-5A. You see in there in rosewood. Very nice little guitar. It's got a wee bit of wear, a wee bit of scuffs in the back of it. There's a bit of a dink there, which to be honest I noticed the first time I played it, but then since then I've not noticed it at all. It's not in one of the places that it kind of catches your hand very much. So yeah, I remember one of these when these came out, or maybe not when they came out, but the drummer in the band I was in called G-Rock had bought one of these and paid it up over years. I think I'm sure he ended up paying like £300 or £400 for it or something like that. It could have been a higher model than this though. I'm not really sure how much these cost new. This one I looked it up. It's a 2002 model, made in Taiwan in the Kaohsiung factory. April 2002. So coming up for 20 years old. So nearly vintage. But the big difference with this was the first time I'd ever actually heard a guitar that you could play like in a studio along with drums and stuff like that, because it's got like the piezo preamp things, which were kind of new back then, especially on sort of, you got them on really expensive, thousands of pounds guitars, but you didn't really get them on moderate ones. So Yamaha, I always recommend whenever I'm saying I'm thinking of buying an acoustic, just buy a Yamaha. My first guitar, which will be coming out now that I've got strings for it. Also, I had to do a wee bit of fretwork in this because we're a bit bashed down here, but there's plenty of life left in them, so I've kind of leveled and crowned them, and it's playing really well. I'm going to do that with my first ever guitar, which I bought on my 18th birthday. I need to dig that out because the frets on it were pure batter from me playing coming into Los Angeles hard all the time. So although being quite a small guitar, it doesn't sound small. It's got a longer scale length. I was always under the impression that the acoustics were kind of 24.5 inch or 24.75. This is like a Fender Strat scale. So maybe Yamaha have designed that to make up for the fact it's a bit thinner, not hugely thinner, a bit thinner than a normal guitar. It's got a bit of a smaller body, I suppose. It's got this sort of plastic thing around the sound hole. But Yamahas are always good, and I think the thing about the acoustics, which doesn't really come in with the electrics the same way, is an acoustic's just a kind of wooden box, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It doesn't, like the Pacifica doesn't quite look like a Strat, so it's kind of a bit annoying. Whereas acoustic, okay, this is a sort of, me and my pal would call this a Bee Gees acoustic, because he always plays one of these, like a small bodied. I think it just comes down to the whole idea of now we're electrified. We've got preamp and stuff in it. You don't need the full size. As long as it sounds good, it doesn't really matter if it's not quite as loud as a Dreadnought. So I'm going to stick it through the bass amp with some drums, and then put some sort of jam on it. Not super easy to get at the jam pedals, so I'm sitting at this angle. Why not? Come on to Los Angeles. to be acoustic. You do need to preamp the electric stuff in it to actually record it, stick it into a loop pedal, but I'll just show you it's not plugged in anymore. I don't play acoustics very often. I don't know. I just don't think they're as cool. Can't really play Sabbath on them. No, you kinda can. So this would be a fantastic beginner's guitar. Came with good tuners on it. I think these are exactly the same tuners that are on my, what's mine, an FG411 I seem to remember. I don't know why I remember those numbers. So it's kind of probably the same sort of price range as this, sort of 250 quid, something like that, I think, new 20 years ago. I think they still make them. I don't know if they make this exact model anymore. But if you want to be playing a bit of high up acoustic, I suppose, you know, the cutaway. Personally, myself, I think one of the best things about having an acoustic is you don't have to play above the 12th, you know, the 14th fret, because you're not meant to. There's something unnatural about playing an acoustic up here. You end up with, depends what it is you're into, I suppose. For me, an acoustic, rather than playing, not so much what I'm playing there, more the joy of an acoustic is the fact that you can actually batter it and it sounds great. Probably should be using a bass pick. There's a huge difference between this volume wise than this and my teleacoustic. I've got a Fender teleacoustic which I really like the look of. It's kind of like a composite fiberglassy type back on it. It's shaped like a Telecaster. This is like seriously 3 times the volume, so I can see why people slag off. I was having an argument with someone online the other night about the teleacoustic, and it's like, it's great, but it's like, it's not like a real acoustic the way this is. Sure, Yamaha know what they're doing. It's got a crazy coloured fingerboard. It was really dry, and I put worktop oil on it, so it's now nice and shiny. But it's a sort of funny, whether if it's rosewood or not, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be. It seems to be more light coloured than what rosewood normally is. That might be because it's quite old. This guitar, I reckon, has been played quite well. The frets were worn, and unusually for a guitar that you get that's got worn frets, it wasn't like, it's normally the ones under a D chord and the ones under a C are the ones that get worn away for an A, but this one was kind of, the frets were kind of worn evenly all the way up. So whoever played it played up here. And it does have a few wee chips round about the tops of the headstock and stuff like that, but it's very much a worn through play and being looked after, rather than, you know, sometimes you get a guitar that someone obviously just didn't care about and bashed it off the walls and stuff like that. It doesn't really have any of that. So the only wear on it's like if you, there's a wee bit of buckle rash here. I tried to take photos of it, and but there's no big chunks and dents and chips. I'm running my finger around trying to find any big chunks and dents. There's not really anything apart from that wee one there in the back of the neck, which is I don't feel it the way I'm playing. Where is it? There. It's not, normally these things tend to be right when you've got your thumb in the back of the guitar, but in this one it's kind of not in the way. So I'm just going to put this up for sale for Christmas. Someone wanting to learn guitar, but you can't really go far wrong with a Yamaha, and it's a nice size. It's a wee bit smaller than like a full blown dreadnought, so I suppose a little bit easier to play. But it plays really well. I suppose you've got the ability to plug it in if you were doing like an acoustic jam or something. Yeah, so I'm kind of out. I'm out of my depth with acoustic already. Rock on. This will be coming up. And maybe I might sneak this into the trade thing Tuesday, just if anyone wants to trade it for something. Perhaps. I suppose. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing with that, but there we go. So for sale, for trades, up at the weekend. Rocking guitar. Catch you later.